All right. If you haven't logged into the VMware yet, I'll walk you through it. You ought to have this start screen up, and then you want to put in the password, which is going to be the password there at the bottom of your machine in that little tape that they have there. I think it's for everybody is the same. OBU Lab 123. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. OBU all caps, then Lab. No caps, and then 1, 2, 3, and then exclamation point, and it'll bring you over to this screen. Everybody here? Okay. Next thing we're going to do is you'll come over to the VMware, and you're going to right-click it, and you'll open it. And it's going to ask you for the password. Okay? And it's the same story here. Okay? And the password, again, is going to be your password for your machine. I will click Login. And it's going to start to connect. Once you've logged in, you should see this. Anybody at this point now? Here? Good. Now, we'll want to click Launch. So you'll right-click your mouse, you'll see Launch, and it's going to start to launch that. Then you'll get this blue screen. And what it's going to do is it's going to start up the emulator, so we'll have those software. So it's going to give you a welcome thing. Then it's going to start with Windows, and it might take a minute or so to do that. So don't get discouraged or confused if that just sits there. Same thing for me.
Does it matter what we log on to Canvas on, like on the VMware or just on the desktop?
If you want, yeah, if you want, well, you'll need the VMware so you have the software. Yeah, so, and then once you log in, once you're in VMware, then you could just go over to Google and then just come in and log in through, yeah, it's a good question. Once you're on VMware and you've got that, so you have the software loaded, then you can use Google Chrome or whatever they have there for the browser to come in and log into Canvas. Okay? Makes sense? So we got to do a little bit of a convoluted process of loading up hopefully I can do some engineering and get my screen cast up there so it lets you see the whole thing, but that one's been ongoing back. So it's preparing your windows, and then once that's ready, you should have your browser, and then you should have the icons for each of the programs. See, are you seeing this yet? Question? Yes. Yeah, say yes. What that means is if you want to download something, you can. And once you log off there and close it out, or once the thing goes to sleep mode, that's all wiped out. Okay. So now, if you see the printer access, just say bye-bye to that and just exit out. That's another one of those things they have yet to, the folks running the train have yet to determine what they're going to do yet. So if you're arrived at this screen at this point, you should look over in the left and you should see Word and Firefox and Google and PowerPoint. See that? Anybody at this stage right now? Okay. Okay. Now, come down here to the Windows at the bottom and click on that. And you're going to see there are a couple of other programs there we'll be using. One is Access and one is Excel. But they've just put that, well, I have an Excel up there and Power, so it will be Access that we don't have an icon for a desktop. For now, you should have Word. Got it? once you have this, go ahead and you can use your browser to come back over to Canvas and then log into Canvas. Okay? Very sorry it's like this. It'd be a lot easier if they made everybody buy a machine, but they've chosen not to do that, but instead to run us through the lab. Now, the reason that I'm having you go ahead and use that invitation is so you can see my screen top. Got me? Huh? You ought to go ahead and use the icon to get over to Canvas and log in. Yeah. And then in Canvas, up in the announcements area, you're going to see an invitation.
Do we need to be in the VMware to log on Canvas, or can we do it through Chrome outside?
To get in Canvas? Yeah, no. If you're in the VMware, you've got Google Chrome. I mean, if you're not in VMware, I think there's Chrome on the desktop there, but you won't be able to follow along because you won't have the programs. You don't have Word or any of that.
Okay, so use Google Chrome on the VMware.
Yeah. I'm very sorry about this, but they decided, rather than installing physically in every machine, they decided to use a cloud version, and so it makes it a little bit convoluted. But the other reason that I say, okay, come into the announcements and then join the screencast is pretty simple. People over here, for example, you won't have as good a view, and so if you really want to see what's on my screen and what I'm doing, then you can log in to into Zoom, which is the software that I'm using, and you can see what I'm doing. Make sense? Hopefully. All righty. Now, if you've logged into Zoom and you're watching, and you should have this on your desktop, then all you really should have to do is just diminish down when you need to, and go ahead and work with call up the programs, Word and all that. So you don't want to log out of here. You just want to diminish down. Okay? And then you can go back up to the VMware to work with Word. All right? Now, if you missed something in translation, there's a couple of backups that you have. Number one, I'm recording this, and so I'll post it. It'll be a YouTube video, and you've seen that as before. I think I've done one or two at this point. The other backup is the text, where we're walking through this demo. Now today, we're starting over on page 82, and we're going to do a little bit of work with word processing. So you should have, you always should bring the big textbook, and we're going to work on this first hands-on that's over here in pages 82 to 84 in POTC. Now, want to bring your attention to a couple of things there, and this is kind of what I talked about last time. You'll notice that I have a couple of resources there, and I'm going to go ahead and make them. I'll publish them. It should just now pop up on your screen. How to insert a watermark. Now, in the exercise for last week, the authors were going to have you insert a watermark in one of those hands-on. Now, I think even in their solution file, they didn't do it. I did it. I think I walked that through how to do it. But if you choose to do it, if you're interested, which hopefully you will be, I have a couple of resources there for you on how to insert a watermark. So under the document, you can have like draft or confidential or something like that. It's not that big of a deal. If somebody didn't do it, I didn't take points off. Hopefully, as you saw my feedback, you understood I'm not going to take points off if you didn't do every single exact thing. The simple reason there are times I think it's worthwhile to do it. There are times I think, well, okay, insert a watermark. That's going to be easy to do. And you can go to help, or I have a couple of links there for you on how to add a watermark. Okay? So the world won't end. Your world won't end if you don't know exactly how to do one. You can always do help and insert one. Okay? Now, we're at page 82, okay? And this is this hands-on exercise. So we want to start with part A, and they ask us to click a blank open Word and click a blank document, okay? So I'm going to click on Word. Okay, so I'll find Word on here. I probably just have it on my desktop now. So I'm just going to I'm going to open the file up, and then I'll click New. And I'll get, that's the one template I use from that other exercise. And then here's a blank document. Okay? So what they want you to do is open up Word, okay? And then open up a brand new document. That's step A. With me so far? Yeah? Okay. No big deal. A lot of this is just, if you've worked with Word a lot, it should be fairly easy to do. Now, they want us to save this file, okay? So I'm going to have you save it, and you want to save it on your desktop. Click Save As, and I'm going to put it on my PC. You always put it on the desktop because that's just going to be much easier. And what is it they have for us here? They want us to call this, all right, W01 H1 refuge, and they have underscore last first, and I'm just going to cram my name together there. The underscore connects it, but I'm just going to be lazy and do this. Okay, this is a file we're going to work on. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'll make sure that I'm on the desktop. Okay, and I'll save it there. No big deal so far. And I've got that file. Now, the second thing they're going to do is look at part B, and they're going to have us click the Insert tab and click the object arrow in the text group, and we're going to get text from a file. Now, the authors mention a file there, and it's that file called camps. All right, and I'm going to go back up over here for a sec, and you'll see this file called WOH1 camps. Now, it's also in the student files, but I loaded it up there for you just to make it easier for you to grab. Got it? Okay, let's download that to your desktop. Okay, and so you'll want to open it up. Now, sometimes what I do is I show it in the folder, but I'm going to click Enable Editing, and then I'm going to save it on my desktop. No big deal. And this PC on the desktop. And I'll put it there. So far what we've done, see everybody have the two files, the one you downloaded. Question? Yeah. Won't let you type. Yeah. So when you open the file and it says Enable Editing, you've got to click that, the yellow thing. Yeah. If you don't do that, it's in what we call protected mode. Now, yes. The first thing we did was we opened up a blank file. You got that one on the desktop. The next one, if you take a look there, you're going to see. And we'll go back here for a sec. And there's that file called camps. And download it. What we're going to do is we're going to take the camps file and we're going to insert it into the other. We're going to insert the text from that file. You say I could have just as easily downloaded the file and copied the text and pasted it in the other document. Yes, you could. I understand that. the authors, there's different ways to get this accomplished if you care to. It's just up to what you want to do. So I'm going to come in here and let's see, I'm going to find, I've got the camps file, okay? And then I want to find that one that I was working on. Well, as usual, I need to clean up my thing here. Where are you? And hang on a sec. I'll just download it again. Oops, I know I did. I'm going to click a new file. And I'll save it as on the desktop. Now, what did I have to call this silly thing again? Well, refuge, there it is. Place that file, so we're okay. So hang on a second here. So we opened up a blank Word document, okay? And on part A there, I named that WO1H1 refuge, and then your last name and your first name. Okay. Get that done. And then down. Let me get this up here. All right, WH1 should be on the computer. Hang on a sec, let me find the file. Here we are, right here by Cardinal Bay. All right, here's the refuge file, okay? I thought. All right, that's the blank, yeah, it's the blank file. Now, got a blank file here, I'm sorry. Now we're part B, we've downloaded the file called camps, and now we're going to insert it. So come over here and click insert. All right, and you're going to see that insertion, and then you're going to find, and they'll show you over there on figure up at the top of page 83, the little insert, okay? And you'll find it. I'm looking for it myself. It should be in the view. Now I find the insert there. That's going to be all the way over here in the Unreal. This is not been my day. Up here, your object, text from file, and I'm going to go back and find that file called camps. And I'm going to insert that, the text from that. Okay? Everybody done that? So you downloaded a blank file, saved it, gave it a name. You downloaded another file with text, and then you just inserted it. Okay? That's what we've done so far. Now we're ready to do some work on this. And over here on, we've added the text, and then they start over on page 83. Okay, and we're gonna start to do some work with this file. Now, as I've said before, the figures will walk you through some of these steps like A, B, C, D, E. Sometimes I'll mess with it, do some different things with it. One of the first things I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it into, well, I don't want to do that because I want to put it into right. I want to get it put into let's see. Well, let's just follow directions. Now, they talk about the paragraph thing on there and the show hide. Click home, and if you put your cursor, if you click on home and you come over here, you're going to see the show hide. This is one of the most annoying features I know of in Word. Click that, and it will show you where all the paragraphs are, etc. Okay. I think it's just an annoyance, but the authors want you to know it's there if you want to try to use it as a tool to make sure you know how many spaces or paragraphs you have between blocks of text. Got it? I think it's a pretty useless feature, but they put it in there for people who really want to do that. Yeah, okay, so I've clicked it off because I don't want to look at it now. There on part C, I'm on page 83. It says after the finest, and it's finest. Now, I just peeked through it. You could have also done this if you wanted to. You could click home, and you could have just simply found the word, click Control F and found the word finest, and go there. So it doesn't matter. I just found it down here, and let's see, it's finest. So right in front of that, you see that word salon. Click enter. Got it so far? Pretty simple stuff. Takes a lot more time to explain it than to just do it. So I have this first paragraph. Now, I want to show you something because the authors say, okay, we'll deal with this later. But take a look at that first paragraph, and you'll see it kind of looks like a Christmas tree or a warning. It's got red and blue. That's telling you are misspells and or grammatical errors in that paragraph. See them? So what you want to do is this first one, and click that, and we'll put in the word native. And then it's, so you change it to its proper format. So far, so good? Yeah? Okay. Now let's save the doc, save it. Just click up on the save, so we're good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and on that first paragraph, I'm going to highlight everything except that last word, and then I'm going to write justify it so it looks nice. See what I'm talking about? Isn't that? Okay. I know, it's exciting. It'll get exciting when you get some of the other. Now, we got the Swan Creek business, and the first thing I want to see if is there anything telling us, and there's a red arrow there telling us it should be the word for. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and come back for everything except that last sentence in that second paragraph, and I'm going to write justify it. So it looks nice. So far, so good? Not that big of a deal. Now they've got some, for further information, contact this person. And they have to scroll down after the word creek. And we've got this business in here about contemplating pressing enter export nature. So I'm at the bottom of page, I'm at the bottom of page 83. Now, if you look up at figure 1.13, you're going to see it. So take the Swan Creek, where it says creek, at that last one, and just hit the enter because we're going to put some words in here. And we'll start with explore nature. Okay. And then the next one's going to be learn to identify native plants and what else? Plants and wildlife. I'm not a very good typist. I was in high school, I went to my vocational counselor, and I said, I want to learn how to type. He said, you're going to college. You don't need to learn how to type. You'll have a little gal that'll do it for you. You know, I've never found her. She's still out there somewhere. All right, take digital photos. Man, see how lazy I am? I'll just push through it, fix it. Participate in nature, sir. Yeah, nature seminar. Nature seminars, all righty. There's enough. Yep, got a couple of things in nature. So you can be lazy like I am. Word will fix it for you. All right, and then enjoy the relaxing days at the refuge. Unless you're at the Lion Refuge and your tour vehicle runs out of fuel or breaks down and the cell coverage is not good, then it will be an exciting day for you. All right. Now, notice that each one of these, the first word is automatically capitalized. Isn't that fabulous? It just did it for us. We're going to do something with this. We're going to make it stand out. So I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to highlight all of these and I'm going to make them bold. This is just me. So they look nice and they stand out for us. Got it? So far, so good. Now, I'm going to come up to this first thing with the what, when, where, and open to. And I'm going to click delete and bring the space up just a hair so I have plenty of space to work here. Okay? So far, so good? Okay. Now, we have fought our way to page 84. Now, you see the document. They want us to check some of the words, and they have some features that they want to bring to our attention. And if you click on the file, okay, let's see on the home, and you can check the document. There's a thesaurus and all that business you can do. It'll do spell check for you if you care to mess around with it. You know, I know it's, and what you're going to run into, sometimes you'll use some terminology or you might use a name, for example, that's not in the library. And then if you get that red thing indicating an error, you can add it to your library, to your dictionary, excuse me. Watch what I'm going to put. I'll put Smuggins. Okay. And see Smuggins? And I'm going to add Smuggins to the dictionary. So it doesn't show up as being a word as a misspell. But you can go through and review the spelling and the grammar. Now, we've done when we went through each of those words, the red and the blue. We basically did part A, and we basically did part B there. And they give us to see the word birds. There's our home to beavers. Okay. Now, you could do a spell check, and that'll help you. But you also have to, I think, if you're smart, to do just a visual edit, make sure that what you've written makes sense, or that's something that is correct, but not grammatically correct, or doesn't fit context, doesn't slip through the cracks. So we'll just take a look here for just a moment. And I'm going to scan over that first one. Okay. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Now, what other tasks have they got for us? I'm going to select the word immersed in the first sentence of the first line, and can click there and smart look at. All right. Now, if you're all that hot about it and you find that word immersed, you can go through that little process there. Just click on it. You've probably seen and worked with these features before. Unfortunately, the authors assume you've never worked with Word or have little experience with it. So you're going to run into some of this stuff that you have to do. I don't write that many memos. I deal a lot with email. I deal a lot with spreadsheets and things. So for me, Word, sometimes it's like a brand new day. This may be one of those. All right, now, we've got some other things that I'm going to do stylistically that will help us. I'm going to come here between the Explore Nature and that Swan Creek, and I'm going to bring that right up, okay? And that way I can get this information on this. For further information, contact this person. So you see, I deleted that space out, so it's all on one page now, okay? With me? Now, I'm going to do something that will set that off. Now, there are three things that are going on here right now. Take a look. Very top is the Swan Creek National Wildlife Refuge. That's in a nice color. It's got some embellishments there, and you could format it. If you want to see it, just highlight it and then click, and it should give you the layout options. And at the top bar, you'll see up there in the ribbon, you'll see like the font size, the font, whether it's bold or not, and the type of font. Got it? So if you want to do different text wrapping or however you care to do it, it's up to you. Got plenty of options. And you can also change the color of the text right here. Text effects. I'm good with what I've got. But what I am going to do is this. I'm going to come down here and just for further information, I'm going to come in and I'm going to change that font color. And I'm going to make it a dark blue, a really dark blue. And this is just me. And then I'm going to take that Calibri and I'm going to make it a 14. Okay. Then I'm going to highlight all of that, and I'm going to come over here where it shows you the borders. This is just me. I'm just playing around with it, and I'm going to put all borders. Okay, I don't like that, how that looks. So see if I want to get just one big border outside, so outside borders. There we go. Now what's the point? Well, it just kind of sets off, balances out the document. You've got the thing on the top with the name of the Swan National, etc. At the bottom, you've got the information here for who to contact. Here you, and then the Explore Nature, all that. You've got that in a, pardon me, you've got that all in a nice dark, so it sets it off. So you take the reader and just kind of walk them through the process. This even down here, I'm just going to experiment for a second. And this is a nice thing. I want to see what it looks like bold. It's too much, so I'm just going to back it out and keep it at that font size. Now, if you come back up to the top, as I said, you know, we've really done 82 through 84 for all intents and purposes. Okay, you're gonna do some stylistic stuff with it. So let's take a look, and I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm going to highlight the watt. Okay, it says watt, and that's a Calibri body with an 11 font. How do I know that? Somebody tell me. What tells me that it's a Calibri body with an 11 size font? Yeah, if I'm looking at the ribbon. Now, you're going to hear me talk about reverse engineering stuff, okay? And there are going to be times when you'll get a document or something you create, say like the flyer, and you can click on an area and you can see what somebody's done. And if you like it, okay, you can keep it. If you don't, you can reverse it out. But I know right now what I'm at. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase that. I'm going to make, first of all, I'm going to make that blue and make it bold. And I'm going to keep it at, but since I've made it bold, I'm going to bring it back down to 10. Let's see if I like it. Now here's a dating tip. If you don't have a date for Saturday night, One of the things you could do is you could come over and open this document, and you could click on that, and you could go from the 10 to 11, 10 to 11, and you can kill a Saturday night alone. I'm trying to add value to your experience here. Spend a whole week of people telling you things. I'm giving you some real life pointers. But hey, you know, if you really want to have fun, watch this. Look at that. Look at that. There it goes. Isn't that cool? You got to find your fun where you can find it. I'm going to leave it at 11 because it looks okay. Now, here's the easy part. Instead of having to do all that, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to use the format painter. So I'm going to copy, format painter. And see the little brush? I do that. Voila. Now, while you are terribly, terribly bored, you know as much about how to do Word as about 85% of the people you'll work with or work for. How many of you are familiar with the movie Forrest Gump? And you remember, what did his drill sergeant ask him? What is your main purpose in life? And Forrest said what? To do everything you tell me to do, drill sergeant. And his drill sergeant said, Gump, you're a genius. And he was. So, your word geniuses. Here's what you need to do. Make a t-shirt, sell them. I've got the word. Okay? Now, most people will not understand that you mean Microsoft Word here. They may think something else. Don't make the mistake, if you're going to do it, to put MS Word. They'll think you have gender confusion about the word. I'm trying to add a little biblical application, folks. Work with me. Now, what I could do is make you all bow your heads and tell me what evil things you did this weekend, and see who raises their hands. When I was your age, the preacher would do that, and I'd look around. Oh well. Okay, so is there anything we haven't done that would have been dramatic? Now, if you click on Home, and if you you should look over to the right. Do you see Create and Share Adobe PDF? Is that over there? No? If you can save a document as a PDF document, it's much better to do it. It's less space, and what it means is someone can't take your document and edit it. It'll depend on your machine or whatever, but this is just the thing. If I'm looking over here, I'm saying you create and share Adobe PDF. You can save it as that. So far, you're good. Now, we're going to do one final thing, and I'm going to do that. And we're going to do a printed watermark. That's all I want. So I'm going to click up here on the little light bulb, and I'm going to do printed watermark. All right. And I'm going to do a picture watermark. Oh, they're not going to let me do it. Why, you weasels. Oh, I'm going to do a text watermark. Okay. And let's see. I want it diagonal. I want it semi-transparent. You're there in the dialog box? And I'm going to click OK. I'll stop. Redo it. I'm going to click. When in doubt, see the little light bulb? That's where you go, help me. Okay? So I'm going to put watermark. Okay? and it's going to tell me printed watermark, and it will give me the watermark dialog box. Got it so far? So far? It's exciting, isn't it? Now, click picture water. You can click text watermark. You can do a picture. So if you have a picture of like this refuge, you'd have what are we going to be looking at? Birds and what? So you can have like what's a slider turtle? Maybe it's a turtle who plays a slide guitar. I don't know. No earthly idea. Maybe it's a turtle that sits on the bank of a slide guitar. That bit. Oh, I know you do air guitar out there. For some of you that do, I know you are. You're in the shower. All right, now, if you notice, I can put in the text, I can put the font, the size, I can put it horizontal or diagonal. Okay. And for the text, I'm going to make it exciting. I'm going to put confidential. And, since it's confidential, the people that work for it at work will not copy this and no one will ever learn about this site. So since you're going to turn it into your boss, just say draft, and you want it semi-transparent, I'm going to click OK. And there it is. That's it. Draft. Isn't that nice? Or you could do with the animals. You could do the picture. A puppy. You put your own text in. So now you've done a watermark. Is it impressive? I thought so. All righty. Now I'm going to show you another thing. I'm going to jumping ahead just a little bit, but we'll make this worth your while. Click the References tab, my friends. Click References. And there you will see a tool that you can use to create perfectly formatted references in APA 6.5 style. See the references? And see this APA? And then so if you decide you're going to create your bib, if you have a bibliography created, see that? Isn't that nice? It's already done all of these. Those are samples, but they're perfect. So instead of sitting there and looking at a manual trying to guess, you can put the dot. You can create you can create a citation and go from there. Now, I'm going to click inserts. I'm going to click insert citation. Excuse me, and I'm going to add a new source. I want to show you something. This is what's cool about this. If I'd have had this, I'd have thought I'd died and gone to heaven. This is like a little database formatter that you just put in the type of reference that it is, and then you fill in the information. So no need for all the guesswork, especially with electronic references. It will help you very much. It'll do it perfectly for you. You just simply put in the data that you need to fill it out. What I was is I click Show All Bibliographic Fields. And this is for a book, which is the simplest. Sometimes you're going to get stuff like a document from a website. You fill it out, and boom, it formats it perfectly. And as you do that, you have your bib. Not the one that you wear when you eat. Take a second to explain something. There's a difference between a bibliography and references or sources cited. A bibliography is every single work about a topic. So people will use that word bibliography. Even folks who are scholars will use it when it's really not accurate. A bibliography is everything about a topic. If you cite sources in your paper or a report or something, that's called references or sources cited. Know the difference between the two. There are some of you someday, or one or two of you probably in this room, who will someday be here, standing on the shoulders of this giant. And so I remember the day that I learned about watermarks with Dr. Harmon. He's dead now, isn't he? It happens. He's appointed unto men once to die. Thank God for that. I don't think I'd want to do it twice. All right. I've come close a few times. The one time I was in the middle of an F5 tornado, and what I kept thinking was, why didn't I bring my bicycle helmet with me today? Funny the things. I thought I'd cry for mama or something like that. But I'm going, where's my bicycle helmet? Oh, well. But I didn't have an outer body experience. Okay. So we've got this here letter done. We've got the draft of it. Now what are you going to do with it? We're going to what? Save it. And then what? Send it to your friends at home and say, here's what I'm learning. What are you doing? Send it home to mom and dad. Email it. Or you can upload it where? Where it says to upload here. Let's go there. And here it is. Hands-on number 3. Potsy text, 82 to 85. And over in, so I won't neglect it, in 85, they talk about the thesaurus and all that business. We've played around with the references. I'll let you learn about the thesaurus on your own. You see that? Upload here. So that's where you'll upload the product of your work. Impressive, huh? Yes? No? Trust me. There goes. We'll come to a point in time when you all be in here going, help me, I don't want to be in college no more. We'll get there. I have that feeling every day. I went to school here in 1970 till an amiable, it was somewhat of a friendly party. It was mutual. My departure was spurred by an unfortunate pyrotechnic experiment I performed at the dorm. And a string of absences in class I should not have missed. In those days, I didn't have FERPA, any of that stuff. I had a gentleman by the name of Dr. Coleman Rayleigh, who is a psychologist. He was the brother of the Rayleigh. Okay? If you're out there, if you're not in church on Wednesday nights at midnight, if you look up in Rayleigh Chapel, you'll see the ghost of Rayleigh Chapel at the top. If you're in church, you won't. Dr. Rayleigh, I thought, okay, I'll skip class. I skipped class. The next time, it was a Tuesday, Thursday class, so the next I come back, and he says, we missed you, Mr. Harmon. Okay. I skipped a second class. And he would greet us as we all came in. And he'd say, children, and it's interesting, we're all 20 years old, and he's going, 18, 19, 20 years old. Why does he call me a child? Well, 10, 15 years later, I look back and I go, yeah, I was. And he said, we missed you today. So far, so good. The third time, I missed class. I went up to the dorm. How many of you are in, it says AG dorm now? I call it aged dorm. It has the red, does it still have the red steps in the stairwell, or they replace those? I was on the 3rd floor. I was about 7 o'clock and I heard a it was the RA. Now in those days, no cell phones, one phone in the building. And the RA came and said, your mom is on the phone and you need to talk to her. And I ran downstairs to the payphone and I held out like this as my mother said, why am I paying all this money? I'm going to class. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. So the next time I went back to class, Dr. Ray looked at me and said, I had the most delightful conversation with your mother. So I learned. And when I played around it up, my parents said, no more of this. You're paying for it yourself. So I worked and went to school for 7 years to finish my bachelor's degree. Let that be a lesson to us all. Okay, now we've gotten that hands-on number 3. We got that done. You got it uploaded? Yes? Okay. Now, we're just going to do a quick overview of number 4. We're not going to do it, but go over to page 232 to 235. Okay? And we're just going to take a quick look at that. We'll do a little bit of an overview. And in that one, we're going to do a mail merge. That will be big fun. And that one, we're going to really unleash the power of Word doing a mail merge, creating a mailing list. So you'll want to look that over and play around with it a little bit before you take off. Anyone have a question I could help you with? We'll do that on Thursday, yeah. But I would really encourage you, take the time to look through that because it's a little more complicated than what we've been doing. But I want you to see how you can use Word to create a mailing list, and that's what mail merge is all about. And so we'll be doing that, okay? And that's pages 232 to 235 in the big book. This, okay? I hope you all had a nice weekend. I see you're all back. So nobody stopped at a rest stop, went to sleep, and then saw a creepy man looking in the window and all that stuff. I warned you about that, didn't I? I'm just trying to look out for your best interests. So you can spend some time working on 4, kind of get yourself ready to do it. So that's what we'll do on Thursday. Or I can give you a short sermonette, kind of a mini chapel. What do you think? So I have one over here. Is it right? Now, yes. Do what? You have to do these in class. I didn't understand. The tests are set up that you can take them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you won't get the same test. Everything gets scrambled off, or is supposed to. So you can take the exams. I may not have made that clear. These exams online, okay, they're there for you to take at any time you want. So if you want to work ahead or need to, you say, I'm going to be out of town, you can do that. Okay? Yeah. Now, to take the exam, though, you've got to log into Canvas. Anytime you do any work in here, you've got to log in. Okay? That's how I keep track of what you're doing, your participation, and all that business. Anybody else have a question I can help you with? Yes?
Where are the tests at?
Where are the tests at? Are you in Canvas? Okay. If you scroll, if you take a week number 2, 9.3 and 9.5, you see in that module, you'll see Snyder 7A Chapter 3, Snyder 7A Chapter 5. Those are the exams. That's over the Fluency and Information Technology book, the blue book. Yeah. And you want to make sure when you start then that you know how much time you have and how many attempts. Okay? The Snyder book covers some of the conceptual material that we want to cover. This was more hands-on, and the Snyder is really more about just some general concepts about information technology, using it, that type of thing. So I'm trying to kind of balance that out. And rather than go through a boring lecture, I prefer to go through a boring presentation. But I am giving you a practical skill, and that's how to sit through a boring meeting and pretend like you're actually interested. That is a skill that will come in handy for you throughout life, especially in business, and learning how to deal with obnoxious people like me. because you're going to work for them, you're going to work with them, and you'll have some customers who are truly obnoxious who will go. And coworkers, creepy, nasty, they're out there. And your job as a believer is to do what? Punish them for their sins. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Your job is to love them the best you can.
I would say love neighbor, and then as I started to say that, it said fine.
Yes. Well, you know, how many of you know about that? What's the Great Commission? What does it say? Now, the key word is make disciples. Is there anywhere where it says persuade people? I hear the word make disciples. You don't ask people, you make them disciples. Well, that's what my Bible says. And in the Middle Ages, they did that. They made disciples. Isn't it nice to know how far we progressed? With modern communications and the ability to go anywhere in the world, we are about as good as the people were in the Middle Ages. We've had the ability to spread a pandemic like the Black Plague all over the world and kill a third of the population. We've come a long way. Think about it. So, I would say this before we get out of here, and I'm going to let you go. Thank you for your work. You're doing good. It's going to get more difficult as we progress. And I promise you that. Take a look at this exercise on the mail merge so that you're ready to go when we get in here. And is there anyone, don't identify yourself, but if there are any of you who have family and friends or whatever down in the path of Dorian, okay, where they at? Florida? Charles? Oh my goodness gracious. I hope they have headed for the mountains. Yes. Yeah. I hope so. Pray for those folks. That's an awfully rough thing to go through. And I guess now we've come to that point where I ask you a very important question. It's this. Why are you people still in my lab?
Are you going to be in your office?
I'm going to be in hiding. No, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm there. Now, I have a 2 o'clock after this one, so, but my office hours are later after. Yeah, I'll be there. Question? Yes. The mail merge is over on pages 232 to 235. Yes.
I have a question. So, like, I log in and stuff, and they wear whatever stuff I have to do it. But I do it to my laptop and smart.
That's fine. Yeah, as long as you upload the work.
Yeah, I just
Good.
very good. I struggle with, because I'm on Mac though. I struggle with trying to get a watermark.
Okay. I had a
So, like, my 2 last assignments, I have to get a watermark.
that's okay. I have a link for you that will show you how to do that with a Mac.
Okay.
Okay?
Is it on Canvas?
Yeah, because this is in Canvas. I had this is how to insert a watermark for Office, and then this is Word for Mac.
It's under modules.
Yeah. Yes.
Appreciate it.
All right. What can I do for you, sir?
I was in class for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I am just coming to
Okay. Hang on just a second. Let me do this. Let me stop the recording here.